Hello, my good friends. It's 10 Minute Tuesday time again. You've probably heard me say about 1,000 times by now that I love frameworks. I'm a frameworks kind of guy. All you need to solve any problem is the proven framework and someone skillful enough to hold you in the space until it works. So, why is it that sometimes frameworks don't get you the result you're looking for? Why is it that you try using a framework, you think you've come across a new framework, it's going to get you the results, and it doesn't work? What's up with that? What's going on? Well, this used to happen for me all the time, particularly with my golf swing. I was an avid golfer back in the day. I haven't played so much in the last 10 years, but I used to swing a club a lot. And I was known to borrow library books, watch DVDs, buy magazines to eradicate my slice. Wasn't much of a hooker, but boy, I could slice a ball. For those of you playing along at home, not familiar with a slice, that is, as a right-handed golfer, to come across the ball in a way that puts enough spin on it to send it way out to the willy wops, out to the right, onto roads, into bushes, in rivers, creeks. It's a very frustrating thing if you're actually trying to hit a ball straight. Anyway, I thought what I need is a framework, is some tools. I just need to understand how to drive the ball straight. So I'd get a book, watch a DVD, read a magazine. 3 tips to reduce your slice, to solve your slicing problem. Great, that's just what I need. And so I'd read the tip, watch the video, do the thing. I'd pick up a broom or a cricket bat or my son's toy golf club or something and just a couple of swings in front of the mirror. Yep, got it. Yes, excellent. I've understood it fully. Good. Go out into the golf course. Would see instant improvement in the straightness of my swing. Think what an incredible framework. So glad that worked. I go back out and play a week later. And guess what? Not only was the slice back, but now I developed an interesting hook as well. The safest place to stand would be directly in front of me because that was the place the ball was not going to go. So even more frustrating. And the response, as you could well imagine, was, bloody framework, dumb magazine, stupid DVD. What I need is a different one, a better one. Clearly that guy didn't know what he was talking about. It took me a little while to realize, the problem was not likely to be the framework. The problem was more likely to be my application of the framework. So here's the thing. Frameworks break down where we stop applying them. And we stop applying them because of our doubts, fears, beliefs, stories, and internal rules. So that's the place to look. When a framework stops working, it's a chance to reflect on which part of us is resisting it and which part of the framework are we resisting and why. So I'm a big fan of frameworks for finance. So, I love Bryson Ben's book, Make Money Simple Again. I love the Barefoot Investor as well. One of the early parts of their framework is about having a 7-day float. Barefoot Investor calls it having a splurge account. So it's this part of the framework around being conscious of your spending and allocating money to, the things that you are likely to need money for. So this idea of budgeting. So you think, I definitely want the outcome of this framework, which is, to make money simple again or to improve the quality of my finances. But I probably don't need to. I probably don't need to do that part. I mean, that's probably for rookies or someone else is like, do you know what? When I was young, mum and dad, they had every single dollar was accounted for and everything was questioned. And, so I want to get freedom, but I don't want to have to track that. So I'm not going to use that part of the framework. So can I just skip that part and go on to the next part and find the parts that I like, find the parts that make sense, find the parts that I enjoy? Like, sure, you're welcome to do that, but you won't get the end result because you've either got to fully use it or not at all. That's how frameworks work. They are a logical sequence. They are a complete strategy. And to make any framework work, you have to be all in. So, I have mentioned again a number of times that I've thoroughly enjoyed the Key Person of Influence framework for a business accelerator. They're 5 Ps. How do you become a key person of influence? Well, here's the way. Here's the proven way. If you want to get this result, if you want to be the guy in the space, well, take your medicine, trust the process, do the work, and when you wake up 12 months from now, having trusted the process and done the work, the landscape will be very different. I'm so grateful that I worked out the fact that the issue was never the framework. It was with application before I'd started that process. Otherwise, I would have wasted a lot of time, energy, and money, because it did work for me. It worked exactly as it was supposed to, exactly as it said on the box it would work. It did all those things simply because I showed up and did what I was told. And so there are a number of parts along that journey where I didn't do what I was told. For instance, part of the framework was around writing a book. And I went, oh no, I've already written a book, so I can skip that part and not really worry about the published component of this framework. Then noticed a bunch of stuff not working, stuff falling apart. Again, okay, well, trust the process. There is a way of writing a book. It's not just putting some content out there, but it's being very clever and strategic about writing the right book for the right reasons to the right people. And I haven't done that. So that's why I'm not experiencing the results that I wanted. So back to the drawing board, trust the process and do what I'm told. So it's really cool because often we don't like being told what to do. In fact, I don't think we ever like being told what to do. So the reason why it is useful to be told what to do by frameworks is that it's not a judgment space; it's an effectiveness. I think success is a science. If one person can do it, well, it can be replicated, and you don't have to recreate the wheel. You just got to follow the proven process. So I think solving insecurity is no different. I see lots of people balk at the framework at some point, that there's some part where the framework falls down because they don't want to do that part. They don't think they should have to do that part. There's some part that goes against their internal beliefs or stirs up a fear that's hard to address. So people skip. But of course it doesn't work. So to step into the light, which is part one of the process, most people go, well, surely I don't have to be fully vulnerable. Surely I don't have to be fully honest. Surely I can go, there's a bit of a problem, but can I just go and solve it? Well, you can, but if you open Google Maps, for instance, and you type in a desired destination, the only other bit of information that Google's going to require from you before giving you the map is the exact coordinates of where you are now. So it turns out that is important. In fact, it's essential. That's why it's on the list. So you have to be fully here before you can get there. So you do have to turn all the lights on. Yeah, you do have to stop running. Yes, you do have to be completely vulnerable. Yep. Okay, cool. Well, then the next one, responsibility. Yeah, I mean, I get that you got to be responsible for change, but I didn't actually choose this. I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that's happened to me that I didn't want or create or, and if it hadn't happened to me, then I wouldn't feel like this, but it did happen to me. So I kind of, I'm in a bit of a pickle there. I get how this works for other people. Like, my auntie, gee, wow, she needs to take some responsibility. And my kids, let me tell you, if they could take responsibility, it'd be incredible. So I get the concept, love the concept, great framework. Just doesn't really apply to me here. So I'm going to skip on to practice 3 if that's okay. Well, of course it's okay, but it's not going to work, as it turns out that blame and excuse doesn't even make sense. Not even if you want it to. We're actually not the victim. No one has the power to diminish us. No one has the power to create results for us. Our results are ours. We're the one. It's all us. We're the one creating this stuff. So all change comes through 100% responsibility, 100% responsibility, not 95, not 90, not even 10. It's all in. Stacking the pain. I get resistance with this one all the time. It's like, I don't want to feel pain, so yeah, I get that pain's a motivator, but I'm done feeling pain. Can we just go fix this? Sure, you can do whatever you like. But if you haven't done an accurate cost assessment, you may have avoided a bunch of pain. You may have pretended this is not as bad as it is. And so at some point when it gets hard to change, you'll kind of go, oh, well, it's probably not that bad anyway. So maybe you don't need to change it. However, if you stack the pain, well, then you kind of go to do a full cost assessment and you'll realize exactly where this is costing you. And you realize that this is a world of pain that's only getting worse and compounding, which will then create this threshold moment where all of a sudden the pain of change is less than the pain of staying the same. Then you've got everything you need inside you to propel you away from this toward a future state. Compelling life vision. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. That's an important question. I get that, Jamin. I hear this all the time. It's just really hard for me to know what I want. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something I've always struggled with. I've just never really been clear about what I want. So, but I mean, can we just keep solving this insecurity thing? Because, I just don't have really any goals. Oh, cool. Well, sure, you can keep doing whatever you want. But here's the interesting thing. Without a compelling vision for your life, this process grinds to a halt very quickly. If Frodo, for instance, does not have this vision to rid the world of the ring, something he signed up to, and he's all in, well, why is he risking his neck? Why is he facing danger every day? He's going back to bed. Without a compelling vision, without tapping into desire that is uniquely yours, you will not make progress in this area. It's only ambitious people that solve insecurity. So there's that. Get help from someone who doesn't care. Well, yeah, that doesn't feel very fun. I'd much prefer to get help from people who do care, if that's okay with you, Jamin. It's okay with me, sure. The problem is they'll weaken you. They'll get in the way. They'll be the hero instead of you. They'll give you advice, and you'll need them for the rest of your life. So that's the problem. If you get someone to help you who doesn't care, well, then they won't get in the way, and you'll realize no one's coming to save me, which is kind of the point of this exercise. Until you realize no one's coming to save you, well, then you won't do what you need to do. And you won't go be the hero, which is the next practice. You actually have to go face this thing all the way back to where it started. And if you don't, well, then you can't remove it. If you don't get back to the origin, you'll just try and override this, try and suppress it, try and squash it. So yeah, it does. You do have to go back to the start. It's true that whether you like it or not, whether you think you've resolved this or not, whether you think you've already done that work or not, if there's still insecurity, you will have to go back and deconstruct that story. And finally, practice 7, rewrite the story. There is some work to be done. Just like, you are here where you are now because the story you've been living out of in the past has been reinforced and practiced, and you found evidence for it because that's what you focus on every day. So that's why it's the default. If you want the new story to be a default, well, there'll be some energy required to create inertia and momentum around that story, to create a neural pathway where that is solid and that is true. So yeah, it does take a bit of effort. Yep, there is some work to be done, even after you've cleared the slate, defeated the dragon, realized you're enough. There's some work to reinforce this. So frameworks work. Frameworks are beautiful. For any problem you're trying to solve, there is a framework. If you can trust the process, be all in on that process, you do get the result. Frameworks break down where you stop applying them because of your own doubts, fears, stories, rules, limitations. Hope that's useful. I hope that's useful, not useful. Useful. And I'll speak to you again soon.